like I want to do like a classic, like old school wrestling like intro. Like, welcome everybody to the Misfit Podcast, and you know you've got me, your host Red, and also Josh is with me as well. Do you want to say hi, Josh?
What's up, Misfits?
You're very enthusiastic.
I'm in a good mood. We just watched NXT Takeover Orlando, and it was a very good show. So I'm looking forward to talking about this.
It was a very good show, and I feel like a lot of people that we know, didn't really want to watch it because remember I told you during the show that on paper the matches look kind of but NXT always delivers every time.
All right, well, that's Red calling out Dooley and Captain because they're big wrestling fans, but they didn't watch tonight's NXT, and they don't even have the excuse that they were watching ROH.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff was going on tonight. You got Ring of Honor. You got we'll get to the Ring of Honor part on NXT, but you got NXT. You got Ring of Honor, and then you had Bellator tonight, which it's a big weekend if you really think about it.
It's a big weekend for combat sports.
But let's talk about NXT Takeover. NXT Takeover, I really thought was a very, very, very good show, and they had very good matches.
Yeah, I always, like to start this off with whether or not you felt that this show was worth your time overall. So, did you think that NXT Takeover tonight was worth your 2.5 hours?
NXT would be worth 3 hours if they made it 3 hours.
Please don't give me any ideas. I don't need more Raws.
But no, it was a really good show from the beginning. What was the three big matches tonight was the three-way dance of the tag team titles. Also, you had Asuka putting her women's championship up against Ember Moon, and then you had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Bobby Roode for the NXT championship, which all three champions got new belts.
Which I liked all the new belts.
Yeah, I liked all the new belts, and I especially liked the tag team ones because the tag team ones look really good. I really thought that those look really nice.
Yeah, the original ones weren't bad either, but all three belts are a huge improvement. The more I want to see some more detailed pictures of the new NXT one, because if it's that nice, I might buy a belt because it's been a while since I have and kind of want to buy a belt.
Well, the tag team championships I really liked. It's got a nice design. It looks like a championship belt, and it looks a lot better what Raw and SmackDown are doing. It's not a coin belt.
Well, yeah, it's as you know, the Raw and SmackDown ones, they're the penny titles, or SmackDown's is like a silver penny. But these new NXT titles,
it's like pennies and quarters.
Exactly. But these new NXT titles, they look more like classic, boxing type of title belt, and it's not so gimmicky like the WWE ones are. Even though that the NXT letters are very predominant on these belts, but it's just such a better look for all of them. And over the next few weeks, we're going to see more of them. And you know what? Like, I didn't like the Universal design, and I was really against it. And when it happened at what was it revealed at SummerSlam, and the crowd booed it, the new Raw title. I don't see, and I couldn't understand how people could complain about the new ones, but hopefully no one does.
What was okay? So let's talk about. I want to know because we always talked about before we ever do any type of review. We always talk about what was the highlights for us, but we didn't really do that because we just got done watching NXT Takeover 4. So I want to know from your perspective, what was the first highlight of the night?
Okay, so starting at the beginning, I guess Ty Dillinger's entrance in the beginning. Let's start with our first match. It was a 8-person mixed tag team match where Sanity took on Ty Dillinger, Roderick Strong, Ruby Riott, and Cassius Ohno. So I think, okay, this may have been my first or second time seeing the Sanity entrance. Um, I liked it, but my highlight, I guess, would have been right after Sanity comes out. The first entrance on the babyface side was Ty Dillinger with his 10 entrance, and the crowd popped huge for this.
Oh yeah,
So
I think the
for
whole
me, that was like a highlight. It was
yeah
just fun.
the whole 10 gimmick has gone over, and it's gone over for months now. That's why everybody, you know how we were talking about the Royal Rumble, him being number 10. Everyone's like, if he's not number 10, it doesn't make sense. So this whole gimmick, even a couple months after Mania, after the Royal Rumble, it's still going strong. It's kind of like I kind of compare it to the Daniel Bryan yes chance and everything.
Well, also, Ty Dillinger and his 10s chants have actually, it's become more than just NXT. He doesn't have to be in a match and the crowd will start to chant 10, which can be bad because when you have two people, at the top rope and they're just doing the normal 10 punches to the head, people don't count 1, 2, 3 in order anymore. Now they just do 10 over and over. And when people are on the outside getting, counted out, it's just 10, 10, 10. So that's kind of been annoying, but I hope they don't punish him because he was so over tonight.
I don't know. I think eventually he'll get a push. I mean, you got I don't know what's going to happen tonight after everything, there's call ups and whatnot, but I feel like Ty Dillinger should be in that top title picture. He deserves it. He's been in NXT for a long time now, and I think
Well, yeah,
that he deserves it.
after tonight's after I saw the pop that he got from the audience and how he led his team, I feel like he's probably going to get called up into the NXT title picture. So I feel like that they can do a show where you could build a few weeks where Ty gets a shot against someone, and he doesn't have to win necessarily, but he's definitely at that point where he can be a number one contender and the fans would accept it. I don't know if he's good enough to go to the main roster and become anything more than um, like an intercontinental or US level guy, but I want to see him get a real shot in NXT. Let him have some more higher level programs, and if he proves himself, then yeah, he should be moved up to the main roster because the whole point of NXT is to develop talent for the main roster.
All right, so top match for you.
Of tonight was the three-way tag team match, but I want to get there naturally, so I'm not going to go too heavy into it yet.
Just like all your dates.
Thanks.
But let's talk about the top match of the card, NXT Championship match between Bobby Roode and Shinsuke Nakamura.
This was like I knew this match was happening. I knew the women's match was happening because I haven't really been paying attention to NXT. So I was excited for this as a main event. I love Nakamura. I've been a big fan for, I guess, 2 to 3 years now, and I'm really happy that he came to WWE. And I'm kind of surprised that they kept him in NXT for so long. I mean, hopefully he'll get called up soon in the post Raw, post SmackDown shows coming up. And I've always been a big fan of Bobby Roode back in TNA, and I liked their last encounter they had. I know that I'm going to get a good, solid match with these guys. And this match to me was very good. NXT is very good at telling stories inside the ring, something that WWE doesn't do. And this one was just, you and I were texting back and forth, and these guys are just top of their game, top level guys going out there telling a great story, going after something that matters, the NXT championship. And I like how the whole match built between Bobby having an injured arm and Nakamura having an injured knee. So as the match goes on, that story starts getting told more and more. And when, they're starting to get towards the end, these guys are beaten. And to me, I'm just watching it thinking like, it's almost like the WWE video game where you can target a body part and these guys are just at the end, but they're their arm or their leg is at red. So it's like you cannot, if you get a submission to your leg that's at red, you're gonna tap. If you get a submission to the arm that's red, you're probably gonna tap. So you have to try so hard to avoid that, and the opponent knows that you're injured because these guys couldn't hide it. Bobby's holding his arm towards the end of the match for quite a long time, and Nakamura at points can't get up because his knee is so injured.
God, that was a great analogy. That was just got me excited all over again.
Well, that really is the strength of the two talents that they have there, combined with whoever's booking and putting these matches together. That the talent, the knowledge of everybody is really helping NXT. And if you have not given NXT a shot because you're not watching the TV weekly like me, it's always worth it to watch an NXT takeover. These specials are important. It's the climax to a lot of stories, and everyone gives it their all, even if the stories weren't great building to it, or you don't think that these, like the earlier matches, like these guys are super important week to week. But when it comes to a takeover, these guys and women put everything out there, and it's worth it. If you're a wrestling fan, it's worth it, and you're not doing yourselves any favors by not watching this type of stuff, especially on Mania weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that will probably be like, "Well, Bobby Roode established himself. You know, everybody knows he was in TNA. Established himself on that stage, and then they go, Nakamura's established himself in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and they've wrestled. They've wrestled a lot of top tier guys like AJ Styles. You know, just a lot of good wrestlers that just came and and then they go, why put him on NXT? It's like you could do so much on a takeover between the two, and these guys are like at the top of the game, and might as well just put on NXT is a hot show if you watch it. A lot of people probably don't keep track of the weekly program, but when a takeover is on, everyone's gonna see. Well, takeover. This is how I feel: is people look at takeover and there's hardcore fans of NXT, and they go, will NXT takeover outdo the main pay-per-view show of WWE? And I think they do that a lot, and they've done it with this one. I feel like this was a really good physical wrestling show. Don't ever let McMahon tell you otherwise. But I think this was a really good show between the two. These guys had a very physical match. I understand the whole analogy that you put on there. That was really good. The whole the WWE 2K game and everything and whatnot. And these guys basically, I even told you this, that they were kicking the shit out of each other basically, and these guys just went at it back and forth. And I feel like at the end of the match, everybody know that Bobby Roode won, but at the end of the match, the way he did that, just the way he did that DDT and everything, like I think that was a proper way. If Nakamura kicked out of that, I'd be like, I don't know what Bobby Roode needs to do, but that was a good way to end the match. And
it definitely was, because as the match went on, both guys had to keep upping their game, and you saw the frustration in both of them. There's one part towards the end where Nakamura just starts getting dirty and just kicking Roode in the face, and the referee, he's trying to like push Knock back, and every time that the referee gave Knock enough space, he goes in and just keeps kicking and kneeing and probably slapping Bobby also. And then you have the opposite side. Bobby Roode is getting so frustrated that at one point he goes to the outside, goes to the ring bell guy, takes the bell, tries to go in the ring. He obviously wants to get disqualified, so even in loss, he still keeps his title. But the referee doesn't let him do that. But that just shows you just how frustrated Bobby Roode was that he couldn't put Nakamura away. And Nakamura is, I guess, such a professional that his anger is because he's bringing his game. He wants his title back. He doesn't want Bobby Roode to keep holding that belt. And that seriously is one of the big things I like about NXT, that the titles matter, that these wrestlers all have goals and feuds matter.
oh, these top three matches, I feel like they were for the belt, and it showed like you said, storytelling matters on NXT, and it really does. And you can tell that these guys, we can have feuds or grudge matches and whatnot, but they implement the belts, which I really wish that WWE would do a lot. I mean, I feel like SmackDown's doing that a lot more on their show than what Raw's doing, but still, NXT they tell great stories, and I think they concluded a good story between Nakamura and Bobby Roode. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Roode now is the champion. He's got a new belt. Everyone, assumes Nakamura is probably going to get called up. I don't, I don't feel like Nakamura needs to have a send off. That he doesn't need to be there for another 4 weeks on the tapings. I just want him to be called up. And uh, Bobby Roode now, he's a heel, but so they have to build a face number one contender. We saw in the crowd before the main event, Drew McIntyre is back. That's Drew Galloway for anyone who is familiar with him on NXT in TNA
There you
or
go.
the Indies. Yeah. So he's back and he can just jump right into the title picture. I'd be fine with that. Um, it's interesting to see what NXT is going to do next for what's next for Bobby.
Bobby Roode, I will say either Ty Dillinger or Drew McIntyre builds himself up for that title. He's established himself in TNA. I mean, TNA, everybody's like, oh my god, the TNA, but he has gone off and established himself as a good singles wrestler, just like anybody else, like Cody Rhodes and whatnot. So I think that they could just put Drew Gallo. I want to call him Drew Galloway because that sounds a lot better than McIntyre. And I feel like that. I feel like that the reason why they put him on TV is that he might be the next one to go after Bobby Roode, maybe.
It would make sense. I'd be fine with him jumping in. Again, it makes sense. He's good enough, and the fans of NXT follow other wrestling in WWE, so they'll accept it right away. And I'm sure they'll be taping in front of this Mania crowd, so he'll have a. I wonder if he's going to come back to the same entrance theme. Now that I think about it, that long ass entrance theme.
No, I feel like they need to do something different. They need to repackage him with being the just a regular guy, like regular wrestler. Don't put no gimmicks. We don't want no gimmicks. I mean,
All right, well, we will see.
I mean, eh, I feel like that he established himself as a solid performer, just being himself at TNA. I don't want to give TNA too much credit, but just let him be that guy.
Well, you don't have to give him too much credit because they couldn't keep him.
Exactly. They weren't paying people, so it was like, all right, well, we're going off topic on that one. We could go all day why TNA's TNA, but let's talk about the next the co-main event, Asuka and Ember Moon.
So this will be for the NXT Women's Championship. They got a new belt, and this one's very similar to the new NXT Championship, except that theirs is more, I guess, gold and white gold together than the new main belt. I like the women's belt too. I might like it more than the main one. I got to see both belts again, but going into this, I assume Asuka was gonna win. I assume she's just gonna be undefeated until she gets called up. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting a lot from Ember Moon, but then again, I haven't been watching NXT week to week like you have, so you were like, this is gonna be a good match. I don't know why you're having like any type of doubts, but this match was very good.
Oh, this match is the build up to it and everything was very good, and they were building it up ever since the last takeover as well during what was it, Survivor Series. They had the last no, they've been building it up before the Royal Rumble takeover. But
Mhm.
I feel like that this match, Asuka really needed this match. She she's had matches against like Billy Kay and Payne Royce. Even Nikki Cross was that in that fatal four way that they had, and I feel like that. I feel like Asuka needed this one. Ember Moon is a very, very good women's wrestler, and they were pretty even back and forth, but Asuka clearly was, like you said, she was being a bully through most of the match, and I really feel like the physicalness and what Ember Moon was bringing to Asuka, she really needed this one. It shows that Asuka can have a very good match and
I think
be kind of heelish in a way.
I think Asuka's always had that little edge to her where she can be heelish. This match was a, I think the only reason this match was so good is because Ember Moon brought it, and she brought it in a like almost a strong style type of way. There was a lot of striking in this match, just forearms and kicks, and even the kicks that didn't hit because these two women knew each other so well or had scouted each other so well that the kicks that got missed were almost better than the ones that connected because they were thrown so fast, and just to miss the kick barely because of how, like, I guess the timing was pretty good on certain things, just showed me, I'm like, okay, wow, like, imagine if that kick had hit. Imagine if that forearm had hit. Like, they were just throwing all their body, all their weight, all their power into stuff. So it seemed like such a very intense match, which you don't see that often with women's wrestling. The quality of women's wrestling has improved so much over the past few years in WWE, but you still have some people on Raw and SmackDown that are from another generation where they're not putting anything into their strikes. And here you had two women that were giving it their all because this mattered, because the NXT title mattered to them. And I was very impressed with how this match ended up.
Oh, I was very impressed with it, and um, like I said, either way, both ways, I was impressed with either Ember Moon or Asuka winning, and they both deserved the championship, but Asuka having that win the belt back by any means possible attitude, and she's kept her streak alive. She's undefeated. She's still the champion. Ember Moon got her first loss. Overall, very good match, and I have no quarrels about how it ended. It was a very good storytelling throughout the whole feud. I'm pretty sure that they're gonna probably keep going with it. If not, Ember Moon might get the championship at one point during down the road, and Asuka will be called up. But at this point, Asuka is ruling the women's division on NXT.
Yeah, I think she'll continue to just run amok in the women's division NXT until she's called up. She'll probably then have to just relinquish the belt, and then I could see Ember Moon easily winning a tournament and being a very credible champion. All right, now here's the next match. This was the match of the night. Three-way dance. The Authors of Pain took on Team DIY versus the Revival. And again, here we got new belts that I really like. So, I mean, I kind of want to just watch that match again. I told Dooley and Captain that they have to watch this match. If you're not going to watch the whole NXT Takeover, that's fine. But you have to watch at least this one match.
Oh, this I like it. I kept telling you, on paper, this card didn't look good, but these guys are going to deliver. These guys, DIY always delivers in their matches, and Revival also put out their heart and everything into the whole thing. And then you put two big guys in there. What more can you ask for in a three-way dance for the tag team championships?
Well, what I loved is the logic behind this match, that DIY and the Revival worked together to get rid of the Authors of Pain. Right from the get-go, it wasn't so much a match between three teams. It was kind of 4-on-2. And that story really built throughout this match. And that, I've always said that I love logic in wrestling. And this was great, great, great storytelling here. And even though the Revival, they're respected by the fans, but they're heels, so you do boo them. Like the fact that they were doing tag team moves with DIY, they're working together, and the Authors of Pain they look like beasts in this match. Especially, coming out of the end, they ended up winning. But these guys, like, you had the two biggest, and most liked tag teams in NXT going against the Authors of Pain, and the Authors of Pain just throwing people around, just and they've improved a lot since like when they first came out. So I'm like flabbergasted right now, just trying to talk about how great this is. I can't. Words can't do enough for this. You need to watch it.
Yeah, you need to watch this match. I mean, we can go on and on. We can go by about a couple hours talking about it, but you're not gonna catch the whole match itself of how exciting it was. We can't talk about it as that much. It was just so good, and like I said, Arthur's of Pain. They are with Paul Ellering, which I think he's helping them out. They improved a lot. I agree with you. Um, Scott Dawson decided he just screwed the whole thing up. And I know how you
that's why
feel
he's a
about
heel.
that.
I was like, I marked out. That's the thing. I marked out when.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you actually did.
That DIY and the Revival, they're working good together, trying to take out the Authors of Pain, but Scott Dawson had to screw it up by attacking who he threw over, Gargano or
Yeah,
Ciampa?
it was. I think it was Gargano, if I remember.
So he does a crazy move. I don't even want to say it because you should watch it. He does a crazy spot that ends up like destroying the teamwork that these two teams were doing together. So now they don't trust each other. Now it becomes more of a three-way dance, and because you have every team is now against each other, not trying to eliminate one team, so you can definitely get rid of the Authors of Pain and focus on you guys, then miscommunications start happening, and that leads to the Authors of Pain being able to win. But because Dawson did it, I marked out. I was so upset because as soon as that happened, you're like, oh, okay, this match isn't over now, but in 5 to 7 minutes, the Authors of Pain are going to win because of this.
Oh, they screwed themselves over on that one. They should have just kept going, get the Authors of Pain out, and then have the classic between the two. But yeah, Scott Dawson screwed that up, and you still got your reigning tag team champions in Authors of Pain.
Very good match. Very good match.
All right, so Aleister Black, Cien Almas. I would say his whole name, but then I get tongue tied, and I just don't want to do that right now.
Yeah, this was a good, solid match. Very heavy striking. Aleister Black comes from, that European type of uh, strong style, but whatever their version is, calling it. Then Almas, he's luchador, so the styles worked well. Almas has a few spots that were just ridiculous, like his taunt where he where he runs towards the ropes, hits the middle rope, backflips into the ring, and then hits like a meditating pose. And that was just like, okay, that's very, very impressive.
Yeah, Aleister Black's he's a very good wrestler, and I honestly can say that I never really watched him all too much, but tonight against Cien Almas looks like he's improving, but I feel like he's not there yet. But he did put on a very good match between the two tonight.
Yeah, it was a good match. Nothing special about it, so I don't really feel like talking about it. But if you're gonna only watch like half the show, watch the top 3 matches. The first 2, they're not bad, but I guess if time's a factor, because there's a lot going on this weekend. This match you could miss. You're not, you're not hurting yourself by not watching it. But if you don't have time, you don't have time.
According to Nigel McGuinness, these guys are going to be a force to reckon with here in Ring of Honor. It's like, okay, am I watching NXT Takeover or Ring of Honor?
I really want to see a recap of that. I don't know if maybe I should just jump back on the network or wait for someone to do that. But if he really said that, that's hilarious. And I'm wondering how bad he got yelled at in the mic, in the headset.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Messed that up.
Well, the 2 directors that were directing NXT tonight was Road Dogg and Triple H. And I know you have a a beef with the whole camera directing as well.
There were a lot of missed spots this whole night. I don't, either they switched to the wrong camera or they stayed on a camera shot too long. So while the camera's on camera A, and you want to switch to a camera B shot, usually you wait for camera A. Camera A usually waits to be told that the shot was moved, so then they move. Instead, you would have camera A would just get the shot and then move before they switch to camera B, a different angle, and they were missing things, and it really started to get to me. You know, I don't blame Triple H or Road Dogg because they're not the ones actually pushing the button. Whoever was director, I don't know what was going on. Was it that they're not experienced? Were they working with new cameramen? Just something was off, and I picked up on it early in the night, and it didn't really happen as much later on, but it happened a few times here.
All right, so before we conclude, I want to tell you about something about that happened at Ring of Honor tonight. You want me to let you know about it? It's kind of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
breaking thing. Um, as we said, Supercard of Honor was tonight. Ring of Honor's their big show that they have also that was going on tonight during the NXT Takeover. The Hardys went against the Young Bucks for the tag team championships, and the Hardys lost the championships to the Young Bucks. And Matt Hardy got on and says that he doesn't know how long the Hardy Vessels will allow them to perform in these matches, but he leaves the future of the tag team division to the Young Bucks. Also, after that, they shook hands with the Young Bucks. Jeff Hardy then says there's only one thing left to do, and everybody, if anybody's seen the news lately in the last week or so, there's supposed to be Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy are supposed to be re-signing back with WWE, and after what happened at Ring of Honor tonight with the Hardys, that looks like that's their send off for Ring of Honor. Looks like they're coming to WWE.
Well, yeah, the rumors have been that the Hardys were looking to return to WWE. They still had this little legal battle going on with TNA over the rights to the broken characters. It's very interesting because I hope WWE brings them in as Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero. I don't want Jeff Hardy and just Matt Hardy. To me, it's not worth it. Just so you can have a little Hardy Boy reunion. They're way more interesting now.
Yeah, according to the news and everything, that WWE wants the broken gimmick in WWE. It's the legal battles that's going on between, like you said, between TNA and Matt Hardy right now, and I want to see that. Everybody's seen how over delete is the delete chance and whatnot, and hopefully there's a rumor that it might be as soon as tomorrow.
Well, I hope I could either see them coming into the Raw Tag Team ladder match or waiting it off till post-Mania Raw or SmackDown. I prefer it probably to be on a Raw or SmackDown because it'll probably get lost in Mania.
Yeah, well, SmackDown has I feel like a better tag team division. I could see them being on SmackDown. Plus, Matt Hardy, if you don't really, remember, Matt Hardy was a SmackDown brand guy back in the day when they also had the two brands separated.
Yeah, but on the other side, Jeff was more of a Raw singles main event guy. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I wouldn't split them up, but they may not be worth. I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they worth more than the Hardy Boys, or something that's years older? Do something new.
No, I think they're gonna keep going with this whole broken gimmick. I mean, how fun would it be to watch Bray Wyatt and his gimmick meeting broken Matt Hardy?
I don't actually want to see because I think the broken character is better than Bray Wyatt, and from the little bit that I've talked to friends that only know WWE, they don't even know what the broken Hardys are, and I don't want them being like, "Oh, they're just Wyatts," and I'm like, "No, there's so much more."
Oh,
And
they're two
for
different.
years, WWE
Yeah.
had the opportunity to do more with Bray Wyatt than they have. My issues with Bray Wyatt is that there's no real logic to his character over years. Like it's just, who is Sister Abigail? Oh, she's a dead body underneath your cabin that can get, Randy Orton can just destroy, and he burnt a man's house down. There's no repercussions, but when AJ Styles attacks Shane, then there's repercussions for that. But burning down someone's property means nothing.
Hey, you gotta walk around saying that you're the face that runs the place. So that was phenomenal.
All right. So in conclusion, this show very good, right?
This show very good, and it's gonna be interesting to see how good WrestleMania is compared to NXT Takeover. All right, so you want to send us off now?
All right. Yeah. How'd that go? Hold on. You have to edit.
Hold on.
Part.
Where's my notes at?
You got to edit this part.
You gotta be like The Rock. You gotta write it on your wrist.
I should.
Looking through the files, folks.
Yeah, that's what's happening. Give me like 3, 2, 1. All right, Misfits. If you like what you heard, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, and please do leave a comment.